Hello, everybody. This is Bart Sharp, and you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious. That's right, being quantum with the consciousness and always in the act of becoming and changing with it into the towny reality. And you are on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 105.3 FM, broadcasting out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And we are also on the UPRN Talk Radio website, Facebook, YouTube, and Roku. Thank you. Boy, I didn't want that one to slip. That's cable television, folks, and really happy to be here tonight. I know it's a 2 o'clock time on Central Standard Time. However, I am in France and it's 9 o'clock, and we are on the tour schedule for, at least for me. I'm starting tours, and that means going to high energy places and getting blasted out during the daytime and doing a radio show at night. What a light and shadow reality. So I think I'm sparking. Yeah, that's it. Got a lot of spark in me today because I went to a Stargate mountain called Peak to Bugarash with all of these new people that first day on the tour, and they were going, oh my God, this is powerful. And I'm getting just blasted by the energy as they are. And that's just the whole nature of being with new people, that something in you intertwines and everything gets bigger for everybody. So what a journey, what a life. I love this business, whether it be a tour guide or a radio show host. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring on Renata McConnell. Hey, Renata.
Hi, Bart. How are you?
I am good. It's good to see you out of North Carolina. I'm really glad you're here today. And I'm just going to start by just telling a little bit about Renata. She's a multidimensional healer and author of the new book, Awakening the Crystalline Heart, and founder of Crystalline Energy Healing. And McConnell has Renata, excuse me, did I say McConnell or something like that?
Renata McConnell.
Renata McConnell. I don't know, McConnell, that's kind of like a real weird one. Renata McConnell is a multi-dimensional healer, shaman, and founder of the Crystal Energy Healing. The author of Awakening the Crystalline Heart, she helps people activate their highest frequency, clear energetic blocks, awaken self-love, and step fully into their divine purpose. Through her coaching programs, energy healing sessions, Crystalline Boutique, and awakening retreats, she guides those ready to elevate into a new way of being. Her work blends quantum healing, ascension, and crystalline activations to create profound transformations. You're a busy girl. But when I've met you before, you're like, you're very active, and it's just like, doesn't sound like anything gets you in your way. My kind of folks. And so you have a book called Awakening the Crystalline. Yeah, we show that a little bit slower. It just kind of flashed on the screen. Awakening the Crystalline Heart. Yes, and we're going to be talking about some of the topics there because, we talk a lot about crystalline stuff, and so maybe we are to start with, what does that term actually mean for people who've never heard of it? Explain it to me like you're talking to a 7-year-old.
Well, I'll explain it to you the way it was explained to me.
Okay.
So when I was downloaded with quantum crystalline energy healing back in 2013, after I got the download of the frequencies, Spirit, that I called the Crystalline Council, that's how they referred themselves to me, told me to call this modality crystalline. And they said it was Christ-like frequency, but don't call it that because that would alienate a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So I went downstairs and I Googled crystalline, and there was nothing on the internet. So I sat down on the floor, literally, and cried and said, like, how am I supposed to go out and say this clears the DNA, yada, yada, yada. I was terrified and I didn't want it. And I told God and whoever was speaking me to take it back, that I didn't want to do it. And it was like, yeah, too late.
It's stuck.
I was completely reluctant. I live in a neighborhood of doctors, lawyers, and people who use the other side of the brain. And I was like coming in with thinking, how am I going to explain that this clears your DNA and resets and does all these things that I was told it does?
Yeah. It's not exactly country club conversation, is it?
No, it's getting closer now, but not then.
Yeah.
If I'm invited to the country club, it comes on the menu because I can't be quiet anymore, but I used to hide it.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe a better question would be, what does it feel like? What's this progress that we go from, being a normal 3D in your brain type of person to connecting to your body and something changes?
Well, it's kind of like a death process and a rebirth process all in one, because I was never the same and I knew I wouldn't be. When the downloads came in 2013, they were so big on my nervous system. I used to be a feng shui consultant. I couldn't work for about 6 months and my whole nervous system shook. I had to sit out on the deck in the back doing nothing for 6 months other than going for a few walks and processing the energy. And I even said to my husband, like, you're free to leave. I will never be the same. Like, it was a complete undoing of any normal conversation or me being interested in what's called normal conversations. It's just like, yeah, okay,
Yeah, we're never going to the Rotary Club again, honey.
No. So it was completely life-changing. But what Spirit told me when I was downloaded with the book now, if you go forward to 2020, that the reason why they had me write this book is that it can be gentle. Not everybody has to go through that. We can release these layers more easily and more comfortably while we're still working and doing whatever we're doing.
Okay, so tell me about releasing layers. I want to present this to people who don't know much about this stuff and kind of bring them in, and then we'll get into some more sophisticated stuff. What are you releasing when you're saying layers?
Well, I would call it shadow, illusions, ego. And then if you go to like normal day stuff, your resentment, your bitterness, your lack of forgiveness.
Repressed emotions.
Yeah, suppressed emotions, even like a lot of these things we don't even realize we're carrying or that they are suppressed or repressed. I'm not saying I'm over all these either, because this morning I had something I thought, oh my gosh, here it comes again. It's a different different flavor or a different, let's say it's lighter, different signature, but I still go through all of them like that are in the book, just from a different point on the spiral.
So you can use tools and techniques that you have learned and practice to help resolve emotions that are repressed, that, are kind of, when you get really ugly and your anger comes out, or you get really sad, or you feel so limited in your life. What you're saying is that you use these quantum crystalline techniques to resolve them. Is that right?
Yes, definitely. And the beauty of this, Bart, is you can go from a really deep negative emotion, we'll call it negative, an emotion, and within 10 minutes be on the other side of it, rather than having to wait for your therapy session or go to a healer 3 weeks out. You can do a lot of that heavy lifting right in your own home and be like completely in a different place with that emotion 10 minutes later.
Yeah. I know for a lot of people, they've done different types of therapy or they're wanting to understand what I call their stories, our patterns, our behavior patterns. And we start to see how we continually do the same things, how we continually sabotage. So if you know what that is at that level, what you're saying is this is a good tool.
Absolutely. And even better, I think, is you don't have to know. Like if you go through the book, each chapter is going to trigger something to help bring this up, whether it's the chapter title or the channel from Yeshua or the key code from Mother Mary, which is specifically to stir up something. Her key code is to stir up what's the suffering underneath.
Yeah.
So to bring it up while you have a minute, I don't know how long it takes to sit. Maybe you're going to sit with a chapter for half an hour, and bring it up and allow it to just, whatever wants to surface in the moment, to come up and go without having to know your story and all that kind of stuff. I don't really even go into story with my clients.
So in other words, you're telling me that you're summoning or inviting or invoking, whatever word you want to use, the presence of Mother Mary to come in the presence of your own body consciousness to help resolve the issue.
Yes, you can absolutely do that. And if that isn't your belief system, it's just it's an light infused word, key code, like let's say self-worth. It's right there. You don't have to believe in another source if you don't want to. It's right there to bring it up. She came in and said, this is what I want to offer to this book. After the channels came in, I thought I was done after Jeshua's channels came in. And then I was working in this room when all the downloads came in. And then she had me move to this chair. And then all of a sudden I was taking scribe and a pink pen. That's all I had. And all the key codes came.
Wow.
It took a couple of days. But
So
yeah.
what's a key code?
Well, that's what she called it. And it's what I'm saying. It's like a way to unlock, let's say, the gears, like these let's say repressed emotion stories, limiting beliefs, implants, whatever they are. They can be from other lifetimes, past, present, future. They can come in from anywhere. So if you're sitting there trying, as us as humans, thinking, okay, why am I feeling this way? Okay, you could think that the door slammed and it irritated you. But it's usually a bigger story if it's showing up, especially if you're on this healing path. So the key codes come to kind of activate or stir up or give you an idea like, oh, maybe it's self-worth related to, what is that chapter? Oh, love the one you're with. So loving who you are at the core, the self-worth is the key code. And then initially you think, oh, wow, that sounds good. And then Mother Mary goes, okay, go back in there. And it's like a gear and like, okay, how could this not be good? Maybe you're getting some attention from your book. Is that real self-worth or is that validation self-worth? And you're like, oh, come on, cut me a break. But anyway, it brings it up.
Yeah.
And off you go. You heal that, So I don't know if that explained what a key code is, but it's the way she explained it is,
well,
it helps
it sounds like it's
under the suffering.
So I keep thinking when I say a key code, I think of numbers or, like a something numeric, but it's really not that. It's a vibrational presence. Is that,
Yes.
am I getting that right?
Yes. Wow. And a way of, if you think Mother Mary getting you out of purgatory, it's a vibrational thing. Oh, I'm just getting chills come in. It's a vibrational activation that's trying to get in under it. And it's so subtle that it can be missed. So if our ego, or if there was a another force trying to keep you from your freedom and liberation, Yeshua's coming in this way, Mother Mary's coming in this way, and then Mary Magdalene comes in with a frequency. So I've got chills all over me. I think they're here.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really true when you start to work with beings, and if you've not done this type of work, you're thinking, oh yeah, they're channeling Mother Mary, like, right, because a lot of people are still in their brains and they're not realizing that this other world is very close to us, or after practicing and summoning or inviting or doing key codes, it can be very close to you, like very accessible. Like just a small veil is in between you.
Yes.
Yeah. So like dial them up.
Yeah, call them in, use whatever, vetted through your own frequency and your own sovereign heart, whatever is going to help you come up into a higher vibration or feel better, a higher vibration. And all that is like feeling better, letting go of some of these things that are holding you back.
Yeah, yeah. And, without making a shameless promotion of your book, um, which we're kind of doing, we're talking about the basic stuff in your book, but there's a lot of ways to do it. And, if we were to think about what a person would need to do to start bringing this reality into their lives, just like your book states, but there's other information that's similar. Yours is very well structured. It's really a big book, and it has lots of ideas and lots of tools and techniques. It's a technical manual in a lot of ways. But can you give some people some advice, just like, how do you do this stuff? How do you call that in? Just some
Well, I
general
think,
guidelines.
well, if you're into meditation, that's one way to invite higher frequencies in. I'm not a great meditator. I can sit quietly for a while, but I don't think I meditate. I sit quietly and in my book and my modality, I connect to the grid, right? So the earth grid, the grid above and the stars, and come in through the heart. So when I'm in the heart, which took me a long time to get into the heart, I did all this work for years before I was kind of like, okay, what are they talking about? Get into the heart. And then I realized when I had an experience where I felt I was in there and feeling this kind of unconditional love, then I realized I got it. But for a long time, even though I had done this modality, for a long time, I was still in the mind. I had to sit quietly and just think, okay, what is, like someone's probably doing right now. What is she talking about? Go in the heart, if it was so easy, but for me, I don't meditate. I feel dropping into the heart, and now I can, but I do this
Yeah.
grid thing first. And so that I'm connected to the source, to the Mother Earth, Father Sky, Mother Mary, God, this is how I feel it. And then in the center of the axis point is me, is my soul seed of divine light. When I drop in there, then I'm there.
Wow. So yours is a visualization.
Yes.
Wow.
And
That's
then
a
it's a
great,
physical experience or spiritual
yeah,
experience. But
yeah.
first, I have to visualize
I think
or
that's a
feel
really,
it.
I think in the last 5 years, that has really come onto the cutting edge of crystalline mechanics or quantum mechanics, is that you can visualize it with that. Just to relate one of my stories, I read this book a long time ago. This is 25 years ago at least. The Way of the Pilgrim. It really didn't have an author. It's more a classic story about a man who said, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. And he said it's a mantra like 4,000 to 5,000 times a day. And it talked about how it changed his life. And this was a Russian peasant in the 12th century or something like that. And I don't even know if I got the mantra right. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. I think that was it. And I would say it just like I was reading in the book. And my God, I could feel a lighter vibration in my heart. And I realized, my God, that's something special. So I became a mantra meditator and would try all kinds of mantras to open that up. But yet it doesn't quite do it like visualizations. They're very special.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the awakening like for you? I mean, can you share a little bit more about some of the stuff that happened to you when you were like, sort of like, you're walking down the street one day, or you're sitting in your living room one day, and all of a sudden you
Yeah.
get it.
I've had several different awakenings. I think I had one at Lourdes that's what awakened me to Mother Mary. I had the initial activation of crystalline when I was like, I had a migraine and went to bed, sent the kids off to school. And then I saw these images on the ceiling with everything blacked out and was told to, write these things down, these symbols. And then that was the activation for me. I couldn't even walk after. And I told you, it took 6 months to recalibrate my nervous system. So that's part of what the modality does, is so that we can bring in light while still being able to function in the world, right? So you didn't have to go through with me. In 2019, I was told, I heard what I believe to be Mary Magdalene in my house saying to go on the Mary Magdalene tour and don't look anything up.
And she didn't pick
All
my
I-
tour. What the heck was that about?
Bart,
No.
because I do everything on my own. This was my MO. I have to do it the hard way, the skeptic way, the don't ask anybody directions way,
No,
and go alone.
we met each other in France, and she was on one of the tours on her own. I'm
Yeah.
just teasing you.
No, but it's good to know, because in this lifetime, I didn't want to read anybody else's. Not only did I not, like through this 5-year process of writing the book, they told me not to. And going on to the Mary Magdalene tour, don't look anything up. And all I knew was she was a prostitute and don't read anything. So I came home and said, I'm going on the Mary Magdalene tour. And they said, where are you going?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know. And and I told my daughter, who lived in Germany, and her boyfriend was a lawyer, and said, oh, your mom's a Catholic pilgrim? Well, she should go to Lourdes. And I'm like, oh, what's at Lourdes? Oh, they have holy water. Oh, I'll go. And I walked in, and so I didn't know. I thought, okay, I'll go there. I took one step into what I would say is the membrane over Lourdes, and I burst into primal wails. It gave me chills. I was a Catholic pilgrim. I didn't know. I knew nothing. And so I was useless that whole day. I walked in, I had an activation by, I believe, a God when I went into the cathedral, where I believe my heart was pierced. I just went down. And then it was so overwhelming. And then that is when Mother Mary started to speak to me. And I was on the Mary Magdalene tour. So Mother Mary was a complete surprise to me. I had no education about any of it. Nothing. I remember going into a kid's house one time, and her mom had a Mother Mary statue, and I just thought it was weird, So people ask me my journey, and they come into my shop now, and I have all sorts of icons I bought all around the world, and they say, oh, are you Catholic? I'm holding a rosary. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. You're going to do the cross and put it in my face. It's just funny how this community has grown to where Mother Mary Magdalene, Master Yeshua, even ISIS has kind of become common knowledge in the spiritual communities in America. And 15 years ago, that was not the case. But kind of their time and vibration have come to be with that. Could you kind of, because to me, the visceral sensations are so important because it kind of gives me a map of how to feel it. Can you describe anything that would help the audience know? Because I think there's a lot of varieties of awakening into a crystalline reality, and we need to hear how other people experience it, so we kind of have a roadmap. Does that make sense?
I'm wondering if you're asking, like, how does it feel for me?
Exactly. What's that process for you? Where do you begin? Where did it take you? Where you're at now? That type of stuff.
The physical feeling, like it came in a couple times here, where it's wordless, it's breathless. I've had a tear in my eye because it's so beautiful. It's like unconditional love wrapped up in champagne bubbles, and blows out my mind and like everything all at once. It just like, it's incredible, the feeling when
Yeah.
you're really deeply activated by these beings when they show up,
Yeah.
and fill your body, or just come through in a memory that is probably, I don't know, I was going to say similar to a near-death experience, but not quite. I had one of those in Peru,
Yeah.
a little bit different, but
Do,
the
do you feel
feeling, go
do
ahead.
you feel light in your body?
Yes.
Like
Like I
like
feel bodiless. So it's pretty light. I just feel like a vibration when it comes in, like my boundaries can just go and be one with that frequency. It's like
yeah, yeah,
a merging and a uplifting and a joyous, like kind of quick glimpse of elation.
yeah,
Let's say
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's wonderful. It almost sounds like there's a level of innocence with it, like
Yeah.
it comes upon you,
Yeah.
and you're a little bit helpless with it. And I know it's different from everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't come onto me that way, like unexpectedly, like slap me in the face, like, here's the spirit. I always had to request, and energy starts to come in. And maybe that's my ego and my desire to control everything. Any advice that you give people to how they can better pay attention to their own process with this?
Because I'm still a skeptic at heart. So
That's a good thing. It really
yeah, so
is.
I have to feel it. I think I came through this lifetime saying I have to experience myself. I have to feel it. I have to vet it. So for me, it goes through my body. Like I had to start saying the opposite of you. It's like, okay, like give me a break. Like please don't just jump out when, but it hasn't happened that way. But to really trust your own experience and go, I wouldn't say to anybody who comes into my boutique, oh, this crystal's for you. It's like, well, go around, see if anything resonates. Maybe something will, maybe something won't, and
Mm,
then if they want help, I come in and help them. But it's the same crystals have that crystalline frequency. So this is a nice way to introduce yourself to feeling it, to experiencing, having your own experience. Oh, this feels like this feels like that. It's the same way when you go choose a spiritual retreat, a healer, um, I don't know, Airbnb, whatever, you feel
yeah.
it through you, you know, like
That's
you
a,
get it through a frequency that
mhm,
feels good to you,
yeah.
you know?
As a friend tells me, if it's light, it's right. If it's heavy, it's a lie.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
love or fear. That's something
yeah.
that I had to work with. Actually, Yeshua, when he came in with the channels, March 13th, I have a big clear quartz point here. And he told me, don't look left, don't look right. And that meant stay in the center between fear and love. And really that meant love. But whenever I got scared, because I was scared, like I never channeled Yeshua, I never heard him before. I was afraid of what people would think, all that stuff. I wasn't even going to put their names in the book. That's how afraid I was till after near the end of 5 years. And my friend said, like, you can't leave them out. Like, I'm like, what are people going to think?
But
It's becoming
I
more
think,
common, like you said.
yeah, yeah. I got a comment about that, but we're right at midpoint of the show, and I wanted to tell everybody that's on the listening in, if you want to ask Renata questions or comment, please feel free to. We'd love to have you come in. And you're also, my name is Bart Sharp. This show is Becoming Quantum Conscious. And hi, Heidi Gold from Colorado. And bless you, sweetie. Glad you're here. And you are on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 105.3 FM out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And we are with Renata McConnell, with the author of Awakening the Crystalline Heart. And that comment you made, that you look between love and fear, or like right in the middle, I think is very valid. I think we have to be very aware of not only our fears, but our limitations, not to be afraid of them, but know the shadows are always there, even though we clear them.
Well, the book came through, the channels came through. COVID, I didn't really know about it March 13th. Well, it came through right during that time. And I was basically sequestered in this room for 55 days until the channels stopped. And I had to stay in, and it was beautiful. It was like a crystalline cathedral. It was amazing frequency. But I also had clients after, and I had clients on both sides of everything, and fear and love. And I had to walk the line, and I had to just stay and really repeat over and over, focus on love, focus on love. Well, it seems like we're at a similar point in time right now. And it's focus on love, to keep our vibration as high as we can.
And at the same time, there's things we have to be aware of that are dangerous, that are foolish, that are can give you a good whacking, whatever that is. So, yeah, but we create another reality right in that type of consciousness.
Yes.
Spot on. In the
It's
words
really staying in that access point. There's one in our heart, which is, and then for me, visualizing it out front when things are bouncing around, there's all sorts of realities to look at, and not bypassing, because that's why the book was written, not to bypass, to get in, clear out the shadows and stuff. But then, it's like getting back on the horse. Okay. Only love is real. Only love is real. I do that mantra.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the real creation. I mean, when you're creating out of fear, it's like I really need to know what I'm afraid of and look it straight in the eye and deal with it. Yeah. But the creativity that love has so much more energy.
Yeah.
So
it's beautiful. It creates worlds and all the things you dream of, your heaven on earth. It's just the most powerful force.
It is. And you've been doing this for quite a while. And we've been talking about a lot of the beginnings. But let's kind of fast forward it and say, well, what's life now? I mean, what does life feel like to you now? Consider that, you were the Renata McConnell mother, wife, kind of normal. And then change happens, and now you're someplace else.
You know what? It feels so good to be done the book and be off assignment, because let me tell you, it was a challenging 5 years having Yeshua and the team as your boss. When they wanted you to get it out at a certain time, and I had my own limitations with translating what the vibration into words and all that kind of stuff. So it feels really, I'm going to say, liberating to be done, and liberating to have faced all the fears, have gone through all those shadow codes over and over and over again for 5 years, like we're to the point where I was like, give me mercy, because it was all my own stuff, but I went through it over and over again in a very intense way.
So I've done this with shadow work and other stuff. So I'll bring up a question with that. You're doing these codes over and over. You are the person that is constructing this tool.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you know it at that level, you can actually teach it. And it's almost like, kind of consider yourself a conduit. Like you are the bringer of that.
It came to me through Crystalline. So I've taught, I was a conduit. Hi. This is the first time I've had it like interactive, so it's so cool. I want to say hi, everybody.
Yeah. So people's name comes up. You want to say hi to them, please feel free.
Okay.
Right.
I'm new at this. I'm free to do podcasts now and talk to people. But you know what's really cool, Bart? The old, let's say the places or structures that wouldn't really receive me are like, like a country club kind of situation. And I'm getting invited to these things. And I'm like, okay, I just told Joshua that send me where you want me. And I'm going to be me now, that there's no dimming down my light or what I do. And it's so cool to have just so many different experiences open up where I seem to be being called. So when you talked about I don't know, you were kind of leading towards a teaching thing, I think. So I teach Crystalline 1, 2, and 3. Level 4 was always the heart healing. But I had difficulty with discernment and the whole shadow game with attracting students and all this stuff. So I said, I'm not teaching Crystalline 4 to anybody. It's too sacred. And then a couple years later, Spirit comes in with, Joshua comes in with these channels. I didn't know they were going to be the heart. And then I said, no way. I am not giving this to everybody when I can't even figure out how to pick 10 people, that could carry this. But seriously, it was like such a mind trip. And they were like, it's for the masses, and that it would be done in a way that people can do their own work without any harm. And I was like, I thought, okay. And and they also said, which they said with Crystalline, it's not about you. And I was like, okay.
Shut up and get to work.
You're right. Yeah. They said it. They said that to me. It's not about you. They've done it twice. One with Crystalline because I'm shy. This is not my thing to go out in public. I wouldn't even public speak for you. And I mean, I'm talking about a horrific, terrifying phobia of public speaking. So they worked through years. I went to Toastmasters for a while, and I got through 45 seconds of talking. So look at me now. You can't shut me up.
I would have never guessed
did a good job.
I would have never guessed that. I didn't think of you as the quiet type.
I know, right?
Yeah. So with this, my angels once told me, or my guardian angel, the big angel, lots of angels with me, but there's one that's like, she's like right there. She says, I am you and you are me. Yeah. As I progress, you progress. As you progress, I progress. And it really felt like, that there is this blending together of souls and spirits. Do you feel that a way? It's something of a similar concept with Yeshua and Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary?
Absolutely. For me, they were all external until I heard Yeshua when he came in March 13th, 2020. I had never heard him. I'm not sure if I heard him internally, definitely never externally, and never had that relationship. Like, for instance, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and Yeshua, I know their voice just like I know your voice now and other people's. Like, it's no different for me. I know who they're like. When people say, oh, how can you know you're talking to them? It's just like, well, I know I'm talking to Bart because I talked to him before. I know what Bart sounds like. You know what Renata sounds like now. You're like, yeah, I know I'm talking to her. Yeah. So I feel like they are us, and they're higher souls. Maybe I was trying to think the council of us or our higher selves. They're aspects that I relate to, and those are ones that now speak to me.
Oh, cool. It really gives us the idea that a quantum crystalline or quantum conscious world is a world where there's a lot less separation between individuals than we think, that we're all in this together, which is a really important aspect about living in this world right now. People you don't like or you disagree with or are fearful of, well, there's a little bit of you in them and a little bit of them in you. You just have to learn how to be aware of that and the fears it elicits. It's always amazing. I met a man, and I meet this, and you probably do too, with people that they turn into this world, and these amazing beings show up in their life, and they don't seem to have a barrier with it. It's like, well, if they told me to go walk down the street without my clothes,
Oh, yeah.
I'd probably do it. And I'm going, you're going to go to jail. You really want that? But you know what I'm talking about? It's like there's you
Well,
have
they give their
choices.
power away.
Yeah.
They give their power away to people, to things, to energies. And that when I say that I was a skeptic, and I still am, I think I'll probably vet everything through me, uh, because I'm sure I had lifetimes where I walked naked through the woods and gave all my money away and did that. So probably this time, like, oh yeah, I'm vetting that, I'm vetting you, and
Mm-hmm.
have different frequencies, so different people really resonate with it. It doesn't make anyone less than or bad. Like you're saying, we're all one. Like
Yeah.
when Joshua called the book Awakening the Crystalline Heart, it was that was the most important word, because we're
Wow.
awakening our crystalline heart, you're awakening yours, but we're in this together. None of us are getting out without anybody else.
Yes.
So, oh, I got chills everywhere. They're like, bingo. Yeah,
In the words of Bob Marley, one love,
yeah,
one heart, let's get together and feel all right.
yeah. Yeah, so, like, helping our neighbor, being compassionate doesn't
Yeah.
mean the whole mirror thing, okay, there's different pieces that we have, of course, that's why we're doing our shadow work. Um,
Mort has a really good question. He says, please, any suggestions on how to start communicating with your higher self?
hmm.
You wanna turn it to that about how
Well,
do
I
you,
was thinking there's different ways, like, I'll tell you what I do more. For instance, I do a shamanic preparation of my room. I set up sacred space. So you can smudge, you can clear, you can bring in crystals or drum or whatever. Get it to a place where it feels really good. Clean it if it needs to be dusted or whatever. Move some objects if you're into feng shui to make it comfortable for a place for you to feel like everything's clear. Now, there's some people that do automatic writing or just write a question and then get an answer to connect to your higher self so you can see it on
Mhm.
paper. And like Bart said, you can ask your higher self to come in. I would vet it through my own heart, like we talked earlier, just taking a couple deep breaths. I connect to the crystalline grid after I've set up sacred space. I connect to my stars, what I call it. This is what the Crystalline Council showed me to do back in 2013. So anyway, then I come into the heart, my own heart, feel really good, a couple deep breaths, and then ask, higher self. It's you. Or you can go in, if you think it's not up there, you can also go the other way and go directly into what I call your soul seed, your God consciousness in the center of your heart. Because sometimes it feels like it's some disembodied being.
Mhm.
It's you. So it's your highest answers, your highest love,
Yeah.
your highest truths. If it feels good and sounds good, it's your higher self.
I would add to that trust. A
Yeah.
lot of things show up and they don't make sense. And you don't have to just sell the farm on that bit of advice, but you also give it regard, even if it doesn't make sense to you, and go, oh, that's an interesting message. Maybe more of
Mm-hmm.
it, or maybe another confirmation will show up. They'll let me know. But you get to where you know the vibration of that message, and know that that's coming from something intuitive or from another source, and it's not your head. And that's the crossover. A lot of times, I usually do muscle testing. I add that with it. If I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if I'm doing, if I channel something and I'm, oh, that's too weird, um, with that. So just to take this another step, how do you use this stuff to create your life now? how would you take a project that, and put it into action? How do these beings, how does this crystalline consciousness help you, or awakening the heart? In other words, you're awakening a heart that's a collective consciousness of all hearts on the planet, and you're
Yes.
using it, as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
So, oh, go ahead.
go ahead? Your turn.
Oh, my turn. Oh gosh, now I lost it. What did you say?
How do we how do you put
Oh,
that
how do
into
I use it?
action? Yeah, how
Yeah.
do you put it in action?
Okay. I was going to say, now that I really know how powerful we are, I'm being very mindful of what I'm intending and wanting out of life. So I'm spending time thinking, how do I want to spend my time? Where do I want to put my energy, my soul signature out in the world? Because I know it goes out with anything I do, but now I want to do it with intention. So I go into my heart and just, first of all, I'm really thinking, because now this is done and there's so many roads I can go on. And it's like, well, which one aligns with what I think I'm here to do and want to do and brings me the most joy? Because I believe, and it was shown to me in these channels, that joy is our highest purpose. It feeds God. It's how we exchange this. I was just going to call it mana, so I'm going to. It's how we exchange this energy, this mana. The more joy I have, and not so much, there is divine servitude, but
Mhm.
not in the old way. Like, it for me, how do I use this? It's like, okay, if this feels good, doesn't mean like doing the work and cleaning your house feels good all the time, but get riding the frequency of joy. What's going to bring me the most? What's going to help the most people without me going into the old I can't think of the victim triangle kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're all one, we're all good, we're all whole. What will help me share this in a way that feels good for everybody?
Wow. So basically you're saying I want to collect to the goodness of the highest consciousness that can help the higher, and it will also help me in whatever I want to apply it to.
Yes. And I do it by going to the
Wow.
heart, connect to the grid, all the things that I talk about, hold my crystal. I have a beautiful citron here that's
Yeah.
it's like the shape of the day. So I can connect with a crystal like that's joy, actually. Funny, I
Mhm.
have it sitting here. Plus your crystals you gave me from France. And that's abundance and all these beautiful high frequencies of joy. So if
Yeah.
that's what I want, I might connect with that and think, okay, what's the vision for that?
That's the big game. I think that's a really neat perspective you have, Renetta, and I'm sure you explained this more in your book. But when we connect to something so big as like the collective consciousness of the heart
Yeah.
and what it would be the highest good or the highest or the progression of where it's going in a positive way, you're helping other people in that collective consciousness, but you're also accessing it to create for you. And whenever we get big energies and into that quantum crystalline world, I think it's a powerful thing. It's
Yes.
lots of
It,
energy.
Heidi wrote, like, where energy flows where
Attention.
attention goes. And it's so
Yes.
true. Like, and you have, um, I, when you're working with the quantum energy and intention, you just want to be really intentional about where you put your energy, or I want to be really intentional, because everything I do and everything everyone does affects all of us. But if I can use what I've learned to bring more love, more joy, more peace, more understanding to the world frequency, or even beyond, the butterfly effect to all the cosmos, then hey, I'm in. I just have to
Yeah.
remember, okay.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think we have to learn that we're all connected. and our actions
Exactly.
and our thoughts and emotions affect others. So
Hmm.
let's learn the lesson and do it in a expansive, progressive way that moves everything forward instead of is selfish,
Yeah. And we
basically.
have all of the emotions we have too. So not bypassing them. Like I said, I had something come up this morning and it's like, oh, okay. Well, that probably took 10 minutes to, I don't even know if it was mine. Like if it came in from somewhere, I was kind of like, what the heck is that? Well, it's mine now. It landed in my lap. So I got to deal with it. Could be mine from another lifetime. I could have had some interference. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, here we are. And
So,
clear it, and then off we go.
yeah. One last question, then we're going to come to the end part of the show. How does it help your confidence to create whatever you want?
Oh, it takes away the whole victim consciousness or believing that anybody's holding anything over you or you can't get into these doors. And, I was just thinking the other day from, my childhood, I would never believe that I could be here doing this. And to know that you really are the creator is so powerful. Like you might not believe it and you can try getting a parking spot and you get that, you can try small things. And then like, there's kind of a fear of like, oh my gosh, what if this big thing happens? I'm already thinking, okay, what's the ripple effect? And should I really want that? Or do I really want to have to deal with that if I get that? So I'm being like really intentional because it creates a whole nother life.
Hmm.
What do they call that? I can't think of that, but the fractals, like you can create a whole nother life.
Yep.
You
It
create them
can.
all.
It can. And so
Yeah.
it's such a wonderful way to show up and remember how you are effect. And there's so much that's much bigger than you happening. And, you know, this is a book on how to move a lot of that stuff out of the
Yeah.
way and
Mhm.
get that together. So we're coming down to the end of the show. Can you just give us about a minute about what you're doing these days, what you would like to tell people?
Well, after I'm off this call, I have a big shipment of huge crystals at the boutique. So I'm clearing them with holy water and putting them in. That's my like chop wood, carry water kind of moment. And,
So you
I
you 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 order you sell online, right?
No, I don't sell online.
Okay.
Not yet. It's just, if you call in or video or WhatsApp, I bring you around. But because I'm attuned to the frequency of the crystals and your bio individual frequency, I can go right through and
Okay.
pick ones. The crystals talk. So
But
they
you
say, hey, absolutely. And
but
hey,
you
go ahead.
but you do healing work
Yes,
through
I do
the internet.
quantum crystalline healing work in my boutique. And I do like spa weeks where people fly in and have a lot of systems fixed and moved and like
Mm,
clearing the crystalline channels in our body so that we can receive more light codes. That's what crystalline 1, 2, and 3 does.
mm.
Um, so I also, what else do I do? I do coaching and I'm doing a couple of talks about the book. So right now
Cool.
I'm going to take a break for a few days. I said
Which
to the
which
universe,
which
"Give me a few
all right.
days."
Which is the book is Awakening the Crystalline Heart, everybody. And you can find this on your website,
Yes, and Amazon,
Crystalline Energy Healing. Oh, yes, and Amazon. Uh,
crystallineenergyhealing.com. Yes.
yeah, thank you for letting me know that. Okay, so let's go to the final part of this show. And I want you to
Okay.
just give us a parting message of what you would like the world, some parting message of wisdom for a minute. And as you think about that, I want to tell everybody that you are listening to Renata McConnell. Her book is Awakening the Crystalline Heart. My name is Bart Sharp, and this is Becoming Quantum Conscious on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 103.5 FM out of New Orleans, Louisiana. We're also on the www Talk Radio website, Facebook, YouTube, and Roku. Next week, I am going to be doing a solo show. In fact, it's a recorded show because that'll be about day 8 on the tour. And by that time, I'm not really crazy about doing a radio show. So I recorded a great show called Solar System Activations. In other words, we will do an explanation and then an activation about how to practice a very high-level embodiment activation of being as big as the solar system. Fun meditation activation. So please join us on that. And Renata, what do you have to share with everybody for parting wisdom?
Well, I think what I want to remind people of is that you're already whole and you're just on a journey remembering that. And when you go within your heart where the purity and innocence of your soul seed resides, it's easier to remember it and to use that frequency to imbue all of your creations and attract your desires. Or more importantly, we're aligning our frequency. We're frequency beings. Crystals actually help you resonate at the vibration that you want to go, that you might not be at yet. But there's other frequencies. There's tuning forks, all sorts of things to help move the energy to a higher vibrational frequency. That's what remembering who you really are is, remembering the vibrational signature of your soul that you came in to resonate at. And when we say removing like ego or whatever we want to call it, it's just the things that veiled your truth. It's just these veils, like you're peeling off these layers of untruth to get to the core, like the Tootsie Roll, to get to the center of who you really are. And it's pure love. It's more magical than you could ever believe if you haven't had these experiences before. And it's all there. I mean, if you need help to get there, get your healers and your sound baths and all those kind of things, because we do need it.
Or call Renata.
Pardon me?
Or call Renata.
Or call me.
Yeah.
Read the book. It will help you. It's meant to. It came from Jeshua. I didn't want to write a book. I definitely didn't want to spend 5 years doing it. And it came through him, then Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, speaking of frequency, picked the crystals. And I did not know till the last 2 weeks that it was anointing.
It's a big book, by the way, everybody.
It's a big book.
Yeah. So we got to come to an end. Thank you so much for being on the show, Renata. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. And
thanks, Heidi.
We'll see y'all next week. Yes, thanks, Heidi and Mark. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.